Okay, welcome back to the Athens Film Festival 2025 creator interviews. Today I'm here with Grace Cafagna. Oh my god, I said that
Hey.
wrong, didn't
No,
I?
you
Writer
got it. You got
director. Thank you.
it.
Writer director of comedy slash tragedy, a murder mystery that blends theatrical flair with some comic stakes here. Grace, thanks so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just so excited to talk about it. It's such a goofy film and I love talking about it.
No, I love it. I enjoy a bit of comedy. I've done a lot of like horror
hmm
interviews and I do enjoy it, but it's like
Yeah.
having kind of a blend almost of like, something a little
Yeah.
scary. So comedic was very fun for me to
I
watch.
love that. Thank
Um,
you.
yeah. Where did the inspiration for this film come from?
Oh my gosh. Well, I had a pretty interesting like theater experience when I was younger in my high school. So it was most of the jokes are pretty much based on that experience and the competitiveness of the group. There's a lot of like nicheness in those jokes, but I think that they do reach a general audience because it's just we all know theater kids and we all know how they act. And we also all know like the generations of people that just when you have a party and stuff goes wrong, how these different people are going to act. But
Hmm.
so I guess my inspiration's mostly from my childhood and my friend groups and friends that have come and go because of the way that they've acted and things like that. Nothing like murder ever occurred, just to reiterate. But we have all had some very interesting arguments.
Sounds like, just kind of general drama being in theater kid
Mhm.
spaces from what I've
Oh
heard.
yeah,
So
definitely.
so you were in theater yourself?
Oh yeah, I was a big theater kid. If you couldn't tell from the way that I looked, not anymore. I think I switched from theater to film. In high school, I'd say I started to get more oriented into film, but I think it's because I've always been such a writer, and I loved writing, and so I was acting, but I was also writing, and I just kind of fell in love with the other one. I just making your own opportunities. I think is such a avenue for writers, which is why I stopped acting, but. I love it. I love to act. I mean, if you ever need somebody up on stage, I gotcha. But not something I do so much anymore. But yeah, I was a big, heavy time theater kid. You play a musical theater song, I'll know every word. So,
No, absolutely. I felt like honestly I was so in it because there was
hmm
just like the way that like seniors to freshmen act is something I've heard about so much, and I
hmm
was like seeing it in real time in this film.
oh
I was
my
like,
gosh,
oh, I didn't realize it was
thank
this
you.
intense.
No, it's like such the relationships between all the characters, including just like the ensemble characters, but also the main characters and what grade they're in and where they're going and this, and that. It's all like something I really wanted to emphasize because it's so real. Like that just
Mhm.
happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah, and why a cast party as your setting for this?
I was watching Bodies, Bodies, Bodies,
Oh, great.
which is, that's like a fun horror movie that all takes place in one location. And so it's about like, okay, if I'm writing this story and I need all these characters to be together and they have to be together, why not do it at a cast party? And that also adds the element of their shows are still currently happening. So that layers on this drama of if somebody dies, who's going to perform for the show, which is obviously super surface level and like they're not really thinking about what's happening. But what's one way to lock them all together into the same place at the same time for just a comedy of errors to occur? Why not be a cast party? I mean, if the theater kids are going to throw a party, it's going to be the cast party for sure.
And where did this like title comedy slash tragedy come from for you? Was this like you started off with, or was that something that developed later in the process?
Honestly, I think I started with it and was like, I'll probably change it. But it ended up just being so like I just think it fits so well because you also have like the slash in there, which because obviously it's not a horror, it's not super scary. You're not gonna not you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna get jump scared. You're okay. But people die, so slash. Let's slash them up, and it's just theater in itself, the logo of like the universal logo of theater is just the comedy mask and the tragedy mask, and those are what the
Mm,
villains wear. So let's do it, comedy slash tragedy. I also watched Ethan Hawke's They
they
Slash
slash
Them,
them. I
and
was
I
about
love
to
that name, and I love the name of that. And I was like, that's cool. That's clever. Like good, clever wordplay. Let's see if we can do something like that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I was genuinely curious if that was your like somewhat of your inspirations. I love like a little play on words like that.
Me too. I'm such a big fan of it. And I also just, it like proves that you're clever. I'm like, okay, I like that. I like that. Whoever wrote that, that's clever. You know what I mean? So, but
Yeah.
it definitely, and I'm a big horror fan. I think that also is just from my
Mhm.
childhood. I love horror movies. So there's besides the theater references that are rampant through it, it's definitely horror inspired, definitely slasher inspired when you look through it.
Yeah, and I love, oh my gosh. Like I was just thinking about like the Fear Street films, like
Yes.
little like I love like a slasher kind of like fun feeling with a horror movie.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, and I ask everybody this, but this is going to be a fun one for you in that case.
Mhm.
But like like the letterboxed four that is kind of going around. What were your like four for this film in
For
particular?
this film, like
Yeah, or like
inspiration for
four
this film.
inspirational film projects that you
This
really
is such a
like.
good question.
I like this. I get film recommendations.
I love this question. Okay, let's think.
And you take as much time as you want. We edit this.
Oh, great, great. I mean, let's say we got bodies, bodies, bodies for sure. Big inspiration. Um, okay, I got one. um, gosh, this is gonna be so hard.
That's a hard one. It's a good one though.
I know it's a good question. I like it a lot. I want to think of some good answers for you. Okay, so bodies, bodies, bodies. What's another good one? I guess we'll say just for like the sake of everybody who's watched it and was like, oh yeah, Scream for sure. There's a lot of like little nods to Scream, especially because the mask is it's white. You know what I mean? They're wearing a cloak, very Scream. But also, I mean, am I allowed to spoil my own film, or is that not something I should do?
You can spoil it. I'm not editing anymore.
Oh,
For them.
um, okay. But like at the end, I wanted there to be like a two strong female, killers, and
Yes.
that like because I think in Scream, we got these two iconic male killers that everybody knows and blah blah blah. So I was like, let's just do something fun with two ladies, and so I gave them a little bit of room to just mess around and get some Stu Macher and Billy Loomis energy in there when they're like snuggled up on each other about to kill the boys. So we'll say bodies, 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 and Scream. Um, Oh boy, now I gotta think of a comedy. Oh, okay. Theater Camp, the Ben Platt movie. Did you ever see that?
I do know about that one.
You definitely should watch it. It's not a horror movie, but it's strict theater comedy. Like it's very derivative. So I say Bodies, Bodies, Bodies meets Theater Camp is my film. And then Scream, and then four. This is so fun. You know what? We'll pick a weird one. High School Musical.
I
You
love.
know what? Let's just throw it in there because you got Sharpay and you got Gabriella and their drama, and you have the boys in their drama.
Yes. Oh
Um,
my
the
gosh.
only thing is there's no singing in mine, but you know what? It's okay because if there would be
The
singing,
drama
it would
still.
100% be High School Musical. Right? Exactly. The theater drama, it's all still there. Actually, there is
Yeah.
singing in mine. I forgot. Someone sings at the end, so that's fun
I love. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Those are
for
great.
sure.
Those are
I'm
great.
sorry if I took too long.
Don't even worry. I mean, it was all worth it to get to High School Musical at the end.
Really, yeah, that's it all built up to that. That
I
was the
love.
important part of this.
Yeah, and I guess speaking of comedy and horror, kind of balancing those inspirations, how do you kind of go about like making sure that there's enough space for both in your project?
Yeah, I think especially for this one, I definitely wanted it to be funnier than I did scary. So it's really just about the tone that you want. I've worked with a lot of people, and it's the main thing that people struggle to navigate is what tone do you want? Well, I want people to laugh, but I also want people to be scared. Okay, great. How much on either side? Are we going 50-50? Are we doing like Cabin in the Woods 50-50 scary, but also 50-50 laughs? Or are
Right.
we leaning into it a little bit more and you want to get more like scary movie type, like so funny, no horror? So it's really just about establishing your tone 100% from the get-go and sticking to it.
Mhm.
Obviously, as creatives, we change our minds and we're indecisive and we do those kinds of things. But when you're writing something, when you're directing something, when you're DPing something, you gotta know the tone. So for this one, when we established our tone, as the director, I wanted to bring like a fun environment to it for most things. So we walked into it, we had fun, you know. In one of the scenes, they play Zip Zap Zop, and I would just told them to actually play it. Like I was just do it. There's like a scene where they all decorate the house, which was the first scene that we did, and I was like, just do it, do whatever you want. Here are all your props, go for it, and just have some fun. And it'll read that you're having fun, and it'll read that you're being silly, and that I think that tone establishes it. But
Mhm.
if we want to go scary, things have got to get a little more intense with the tone. And I would never say foster a tense environment, but you got to get into the right mind space, especially as a director trying to get your actors to get into that headspace, you know? So it's really just about establishing the tone, because if you want it to be half and half, you can do it, but you gotta be right about it. You know, you can't overdo it. You gotta kill some of your darlings, because like some jokes you can't do because they're so funny that it just
Mhm.
ruins the horror. And there's some scares that are so scary that you can't come back from. So pick a tone and stick to it, I think is my answer.
He had some great advice,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
And you know, you have to, it's hard, especially when you like to laugh. I feel like
Right.
just
I
to
love laughing.
sacrifice certain
I
things.
think too that's like the two things that people like to do the most. I think in a theater are laugh and get scared. I know people like to cry. I'm not a crier in a theater, but I feel like people love to laugh together and people love to get scared together. So I think that
So
that's a big
true.
element.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. You know,
Thanks.
and you're talking about establishing tone from the beginning. What was
Right.
the rehearsal or workshopping process like for, you know, building kind of this tension in your ensemble cast, and even
Yeah,
casting them?
for sure. So fortunately, a bunch of these peeps that I got in the short film are some of my good friends from a previous short film that we did, which we had a lot of fun with. So they kind of just fell into those roles naturally. But especially some of the guy characters, we did have to reach out and do some casting for. And particularly for this type of film, I'm looking for improv. I'm looking for how you can play off of these kinds of things, you know? Stuff's going to go wrong, and sometimes the lines aren't going to seem as good as I wanted them to on paper. And so if you can take my lines and take the character and just go off and be funny, that's what I wanted for it.
Mhm.
um Rehearsal, so we actually shot this film in 2 days, which
Oh
was
my
pretty
god.
crazy.
For a
I know.
film? Yeah.
Yeah, two 12-hour days back to back,
Oh,
because
wow.
that's what we had the location for. And I mean, that house is just so, nah, I wanted it. So we rehearsed, we rehearsed, we rehearsed, and that's like the biggest thing to going into is if you can't rehearse there, you got to just do it as much as you can. So when you are there, they can just adapt. They can just naturally
Mhm.
fall into it. Same thing with your camera team, your sound team, your light team. You know, you can never just say, "Hey guys, we'll do it when we're there," because you're not going to be there. And when you're there, you got so little time. So rehearsal was very strict. We had like Zoom rehearsals. I had some in-person rehearsals. Um, and then once we got there, everything flowed pretty steadily. I mean, obviously with short films, there's some bumps in the road,
Mhm.
but we accomplished everything we needed to, and we got over it, and it was just a lot of fun. And that's what I think everybody will say if you will be at the film festival and you'll meet some of the cast is it's just fun. Filmmaking is so much fun. These
It,
characters are so much fun, and the friend group in the short film just needed to like still have fun together while hating each other. So I'm really happy that they could all get along, even though some of them they didn't know each other until like the day of the well, we're meeting for the first time in person, but it all worked out and everybody had a blast. So I
yeah.
think I answered your question. I talk a
Yeah.
lot if you couldn't tell.
I love it. I love it. I'm a talker too. That's why they made me do
Yeah.
interviews.
Oh yeah. You got good questions. I'm loving it.
Yay. Oh my gosh. And just, yeah, like I could definitely feel like the tension between like these characters. And that's definitely something I think, you know, has to be practiced at a certain point. You don't want these
Right.
people to like actually be beefing with each other.
No, you don't. And I think the more they can have fun with each other, the more you can kind of dig into each other in a weird way. Like I think especially the scene when they're outside and the dead body is there and they're all just standing there. That's such a long scene of them just all going snap, snap, snapping at each other. And if you can have it be like, oh, I like this person, this is fun, then you
Mhm.
can just keep building it, and make it just keep
Yeah.
going. Versus if you actually have a problem with that person, you don't want to be talking too much crap. But
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a single location murder mystery can also just be very complex, even without the people involved
right.
in it. Were there any like production challenges that forced you to really innovate?
Yeah. The lighting, I think 100% was,
Oh, yeah.
we had to mostly do practicals because the way that the house is built, it's there's nowhere to set up stuff. There's nowhere to hang things. There's nowhere to like we couldn't fit like C stands through the door. It's just, it was so, we relied so heavily on practicals, which I think does add to the intimacy of it. You know, you almost feel
Yeah.
like you're there because it's not perfect stage lighting and it's not perfect.
Mhm.
You know what I mean. But
Yeah.
that was definitely a big challenge we had to work around, was just how are we going to see them? How are we going to see their faces? Especially when we're outside, there's no street lights.
Mhm.
They're out in the woods. There's no street lights.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really like a moon for us to kind of be like, oh, here's a shot of the moon. That's why there's lighting on them. No. So we just had to make it work. And I think it did work, which, whew, thank God. Um, what was the other one? There's just the house itself, the more you look at it and the more you watch it, it's tight. It's tight constraints. There's stuff everywhere. And set decorating, we kind of just took things from the house and moved them around because it's like its own time period when you walk into that building. And that's why I loved it so much, because time stands still when they're in that house. But
Mhm.
that's also true for us because Lindsay, my DP, she's this tiny little girl. We had to like hoist her up over stuff. Like she had to like jump over things just to get the perfect angle. And then
Oh,
in the garage, there's like that angle on the car hood. And I was just like, you know what? Can I just take the camera? Because I was the only one who could like lean all the way across the hood to get it through the glass. So just a lot of just a lot of, you know what, we're gonna make it work, let's just do it, you know what,
for
it's
sure.
okay, we're just gonna do it. Because I think when planning fails, it's just improv, and it works. Once you just, as long as you're not stressed and you're calm, you know, okay, this didn't work, let's do it this way, let's just, you know, let's give it a shot. And more oftentimes than not, it'll happen for you. And sometimes you just have to reroute and pick it up later and it works. So
Oh my gosh. Hey, love it. Definitely shows. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you were just able to improv
I know.
with support, literally, and like
Thank you. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's
perfectly.
a great house. It's just full of stuff. There's a one room that had like four pianos in it. And we were all like some, oh my gosh, somebody would like hit a key during a shot on accident and I'd be like,
Oh my gosh. And talking about camera movement and having to literally maneuver yourself for some shots.
yeah,
What was that, collaboration like with your DP that you mentioned?
yes,
Visually dynamic and suspenseful.
for sure. So Lindsay Richmond and I have a history of just a long time friendship. I love her. She's mainly a photographer, but we were trying to, I was like, how do you think we can adapt this to this short film, and how can we take the still life of a photographer, like for a photographer, onto a moving picture screen. Excuse me. But I wanted her because the cinematography, it doesn't need to be incredibly beautiful or cinematic for this. I wanted it to feel like a stage, almost like we are part of an audience watching a play,
Mhm.
or we are with the cast on this stage and we're kind of making it up as we go along. And I think it just makes it feel more homely, more intimate, more like you're a part of it, versus, wow, that shot's beautiful and it's incredible. And that's what I'm thinking when I'm looking at it. Instead, I'm just kind of
Mhm.
like, okay, what do we do next? Which is what I wanted. You know, I want the audience to feel like they got to think of what's coming up next. Like, what's
Mhm.
the plan? And it is all about a show. It's all about the show, and it's about the actors, and it's theater. So yeah, let's make it look like a stage. Let's make it look like the stage is moving, and our eyes are following them crossing some stage. We're going through the wings, and now we're back out. It's like I
Yeah.
wanted that style to it. It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We had so much fun. There's so many photos of us like just like sealed together in this corner of this really small room. I'm like this looking at the monitor, and she's just like like We both looked like psychos when we were filming this film, but it worked.
Sure did. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Mhm.
I do love like even in like the blocking sometimes they are kind of just like all lined
Right.
up.
I know, I love that. Well, so when we were filming, there's two shots in specific I can think of. The one where they're outside around the body, and there's the one where they're in the kitchen, and they're all like, "Where's the phone box? Where's JC? Whatever." And oh my God, Derek's eating that bag of goldfish, if you remember, which was the bane of my existence. But um, in both of those scenes, it was like, why aren't we getting coverage of each of them? And it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like cutting to coverage of each of their faces or over the shoulders. It felt unnatural. And I think it's because of the tone we established as these are actors on the stage and we are watching them. So, if I'm an audience member, I'm not going to get perfect coverage of somebody's face. It's going to be the whole group and how they're all interacting with each other and bouncing off
Mhm.
each other. So, especially for the bigger scenes where they're all arguing, I wanted all of them to be in each of the shots because everyone's reactions are just so on it, and the way that everybody's feeling is just building the tension. So, if you're watching it on a stage, you're not just going to be watching one of them. You got the whole view. So I love that. I think it's so specific and it's very like iconic for the film itself. And
Yeah.
these characters is like they can do it by themselves, and I think that's the mentality of a lot of them is I can do this on my own. You all are replaceable and blah blah blah. But it's a show. You all need to rely on each other to keep it going. Anyway.
Yeah. I loved that. Like, yeah, I like seeing everyone's face is like trying to put together a mystery kind of
Right.
like when you play like a murder mystery, like with friends, like one of those like board games, like you're looking at
Yes.
everyone's face. You're not looking at one person.
Right.
Like everyone's in a
Exactly. Exactly, because you got to see everybody's reaction.
yeah,
Like Clue, you would never play Clue like with two people. Like you would never like be like, okay, not looking at anybody. You're gonna look
yeah,
at everybody.
absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like you take a lot from theater and like understanding how
Mm,
important, that those visuals are, which obviously is
right.
a theme in film, of course, too. Um, but you have like a very, yeah, theatrical sense of,
Right.
how to show it and what needs to be shown, which I really appreciate.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah. Do you feel like there's anything in particular that theater has given you as a director and a writer that you think are set you apart maybe from people without that kind of experience?
Definitely. I mean, 100%. When you're doing theater, you're reading it from an actor's perspective
Mm,
and what parts do I want to play and
right.
what lines do I want to say? Because I mean, there was a ton of shows that I've read that I'm like, I don't want to say that. That's not funny, or I don't want that part. And so as a writer, I've tried to really amplify the characters and the script
Mm,
because that's what it boils down to. At the end of the day, your film can be beautiful. The shots can be gorgeous. The sound can be mwah, delicious. You
mm,
can have all of that, but if you have shitty script, excuse my language,
yeah.
no one's gonna like it. The actors aren't gonna like it. They know what a bad script is in comparison to a good script,
Mm,
and it's expensive to make something look really good, but it's not expensive to have a good script. It's really about what you see in people and writers and who you want to hire, and writing your own thing is it's not you can write a good script if you take the time and effort to do it. But you can buy all this equipment and make it look gorgeous, but you have to work on a script to make it wonderful. And when it is good, the actors will want to play it. And so I just like through reading lots of plays and lots of films and things when I was younger, being like, who would I want to play? I'm definitely more oriented to writing characters that I feel like people would want to play. And you
mm,
want to audition for something you don't want. Like, I'm sure we got to make money. We got to make money. So I
mm.
understand. But at the end of the day, the roles that you're going to be the best at and most passionate about are the ones you want to play and the ones that the writer is excited about and the one that the writer's like, yeah, I worked really hard on this. So I hope
Yeah.
that made sense. It was a little across the board, but
No, absolutely. I mean, when people are passionate about something, it tends to show no matter
yeah,
what.
for
And
sure.
and it sounds like you really believe in the like the kind of advice that a lot of writers have for themselves, which is like it just has to be interesting,
Right.
rather than, palatable, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, don't ever write for anybody but yourself. Because if
yeah,
you're writing for somebody else, it's not you.
yeah, and if you're interested, you like it, and it's gonna show, absolutely.
Right, definitely.
Within this, you wrote and directed this film for everybody watching. Um, were there any themes in particular that you had been wanting to explore from other, you've been writing in your career, like guilt, grief, identity, performance in general?
Yeah.
There's definitely a presence of them in this story.
Yeah, I think there's a tons of themes that you could read into, but I think the main one it is just a commentary on society and the way that we act around certain things, which sounds like so pretentious. It's about society. No, it's just, you know, like I find myself thinking these horrible things about, like, okay, well, what's going to happen to me if that happens? It's just we live in a selfish society, and it's really unfortunate. And I just wanted these characters to be that surface level selfishness up to the top,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't say that we all act like that, but deep down, there are parts of us that feel that way. And deep down, there are parts of us that are like, well, maybe it would be just easier if they died, which is like horrible. It's horrible, but it's the way that people feel. It's the way that people think. And it's, I think, something we all need to recognize about ourselves and just look at and be like, wow, that person's acting crazy. Oh, I thought that. Or like, oh, I understand. I would never do it, but I think I understand. Um, and
Mhm.
then there's also just the themes of there are just like rampant themes of what's the word I'm looking for? Just the way I think, especially in the theater industry, how competitive everyone is.
Yeah.
Like everybody's at each other's throats, and that applies as well to any other industry. But I think
Mhm.
theater, film, acting in general, everybody's at each other's throats to
Mhm.
get the next part, to get the next role, and no one's each other's friend. They're friends, but they all are like that. So I think it's a little bit of a bite at that, because I feel like that's not the way we creatives are inherently. I think we're made that way through how it is, because we got to make money and we got to do what we got to do to make money, but that's not who we are as people. We didn't go into business, we didn't go into economics.
Yeah, absolutely. It almost felt like, obviously this art is about performance and there's like
Mhm.
that performing element, but it was like performing for other people almost all the time and kind of
Right.
making yourself into like a caricature.
For
Obviously,
sure.
that's comedy that plays into that.
Right.
But it definitely feels like something in film and theater that you can observe.
Definitely.
Um,
I mean, and it's just so natural. Everybody feels that way. Everyone's like, "Who's my competition?" You walk into an audition, that's my competition right there. You walk into an interview, that's my competition right there. Not how it should be.
yeah, and just yeah, it does make us act in some ways that we should acknowledge that are a little crazy.
A
I
little irrational.
quite a bit. Well, Grace, you've been great. Oh my gosh, I wish I could
Thank you
talk
so
so
much.
much more about like
I
costume.
know you're so fascinating. I wish I could ask you questions.
When you're at the film festival, come find me.
So true. Oh my gosh, you'll see me. I'll probably be dressing eccentrically, like how
Oh
I
my
am. You'll be
gosh,
like that theatrical girl right there. That's her.
I'll be jewelried up. That's usually me. I
Oh,
like glitter.
that's so exciting. Oh my
But
gosh.
I guess as we're wrapping up here, I'll
Hmm.
ask you kind of. We kind of touched on this in the last question, but is there
Yeah.
anything that you want people to really catch, like when they're watching this? Is there something that you are kind of proud of that you want them to like kind of take away and be like, oh, I noticed that, as they're like walking out of the theater?
That's a great question. There's always stuff in the script that when you watch it again or you read the script, you'll be like, oh, I like that. And there's stuff that I write that I'm like, please look at it, please understand how good it is. And
Yeah.
there's also these elevated meanings of society and of
Mhm.
competition and stuff like that. But ultimately, I want you to laugh.
Yeah.
I want you to leave and be like, man, that was funny. Like I want that to make you giggle. And it's just what we need. I feel like right now everything is so stocked full of everything you're doing wrong and everything
Mhm.
people are doing wrong and how you can't fix it. So I just want to laugh. I want to sit there and I want to laugh and I want to watch something funny and I want to watch something funny with my friends. So If there's one big thing I could ask you to take away from the film is leave laughing, walk out laughing, and think about how funny it was, because just think about what made you laugh. And I love that. So
I love that. Oh my
thank
gosh.
you.
That's amazing. Well, Grace, you've been so great. Where can people
Thank
find out
you.
more about you and your projects?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Follow comedy tragedy underscore productions on Instagram and YouTube. I am Gracky underscore garage. That's my weird Instagram handle.
Yeah.
Please follow me. Doing a lot all of the time. So, and I love to chat. I'll probably follow you back even if I don't know who you are, because I love that. So,
Amazing. Well, Grace, thank you so, so much. You have been
thank you.
amazing. And we can't wait to show and screen comedy slash tragedy
Oh my
and see
gosh.
you there.
You're going to love it. You're going to laugh. Thank
Amazing.
you.
All right. Well, we'll see you at the festival August 14th through 17th. And Grace, have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.